Welcome to Antique Coins Information, your ultimate destination for everything rare and valuable in the world of coins. In today's video, we're counting down the top 10 most valuable and rare USA Lincoln 1-cent wheat pennies, coins so extraordinary that collectors would pay millions to own them. From rare mint errors to historic pieces that have stood the test of time, these pennies aren't just currency, they're pieces of American history and treasure. Stay tuned as we explore each coin's story, rarity, and jaw-dropping value. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most coveted pieces in American numismatics, the 1937 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. This coin is not just a piece of currency, it is a slice of American history, a witness to a nation recovering from the Great Depression, and a symbol of one of the most beloved presidents in United States history, Abraham Lincoln. If you've ever dreamed of discovering a coin that could be worth a fortune, then this might just be the story that sparks your imagination. The 1937 Lincoln wheat penny is part of the long-running series of Lincoln cents that began in 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Designed by the renowned sculptor Victor David Brenner, these pennies have captivated collectors for over a century. The obverse of the coin features a finely detailed portrait of Abraham Lincoln, capturing the thoughtful and determined expression that has become iconic over the years. On the reverse, the coin proudly displays the wheat ears, giving this series its popular nickname, the wheat penny. The design was meant to symbolize prosperity and growth, which was particularly poignant as the United States emerged from economic hardship in the 1930s. What makes the 1937 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny particularly fascinating to collectors is its production details. Unlike pennies minted in Denver, marked with a D, or in San Francisco, marked with an S, this coin was minted in Philadelphia, the birthplace of American coinage, which did not use a mint mark at that time. This absence of a mint mark is significant because it identifies the coin's origin and provides insight into the minting practices of the era. Coins from Philadelphia are often less flashy than their Denver or San Francisco counterparts, but their historical significance and rarity make them highly desirable. The year 1937 was a unique period in American coinage. The United States was still feeling the effects of the Great Depression, and coin production was carefully monitored to meet the nation's economic needs. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of Lincoln cents that year, yet only a small fraction of those coins survived in high-quality condition. Many pennies were circulated heavily, worn smooth by hands and pockets, which makes uncirculated or near-perfect examples incredibly valuable today. Collectors are particularly interested in the finer details of the 1937 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny. The sharpness of Lincoln's features, the clarity of the lettering, and the detail of the wheat ears all contribute to the coin's grading and value. Coins with minimal wear, clear strike marks, and no discoloration can fetch significantly higher prices in the market. Even minor imperfections can affect a coin's worth, which is why careful examination under proper lighting and magnification is essential for serious collectors. One of the most compelling reasons collectors seek out this coin is its rarity in high grades. While millions were minted, most circulated coins show signs of age, including scratches, fading, and general wear. High-grade examples that have retained their original luster are extraordinarily rare. Numismatists often refer to coins in mint state condition, which means they show no signs of circulation and have maintained their original brilliance. A 1937 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny in mint state can be considered a crown jewel in any collection. Beyond its physical attributes, the coin carries a rich historical narrative. The year 1937 was a time of change and recovery in the United States. Franklin D. Roosevelt was in his second term as president, leading the country through the New Deal programs designed to combat the economic hardships of the Depression. Manufacturing and industrial output were gradually rebounding, and coins like the Lincoln wheat penny were circulating through the hands of workers, shopkeepers, and everyday Americans. Each penny tells a story of the people who used it, making it more than just a collectible, it's a tangible connection to history. For coin enthusiasts, the thrill of owning a 1937 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny is not just about monetary value, it's about preserving a piece of American heritage. Every scratch, every luster, and every detail represents decades of history. The coin's design, which had remained virtually unchanged for decades, evokes a sense of continuity and respect for Lincoln's legacy. This is a coin that reminds us of the endurance of American ideals, even in challenging times. When considering the investment potential of the 1937 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny, collectors and investors alike are often struck by its impressive market value. Coins that are well preserved, with clear features and minimal wear, can command substantial sums at auctions and private sales. Serious collectors often spend years searching for the perfect example, scouring coin shops, estate sales, and auctions to find a piece that meets their exacting standards. The rarity and demand for these coins ensure that their value has remained strong over the decades. The grading of coins is a critical factor in determining their worth. Professional grading services such as the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC) assess coins on factors like strike quality, surface preservation, luster, and eye appeal. A coin graded MS65 or higher is considered extremely desirable, while lower grades still hold value due to the coin's historical significance. For the 1937 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny, even circulated examples can be valuable, but an uncirculated, high-grade specimen is truly the crown jewel for any collector. Another interesting aspect of this coin is its appeal to both new collectors and seasoned numismatists. Beginners are often drawn to the Lincoln wheat penny series because of its historical relevance and recognizable design, while advanced collectors appreciate the intricate details and rarity factors. This broad appeal has helped maintain the coin's value over time and continues to attract interest from across the globe. The Lincoln wheat penny is also a popular coin for educational purposes, as it provides an accessible entry point into the world of numismatics, teaching young collectors about history, economy, and the art of coin design. Over the years, several factors have contributed to the 1937 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny's collectible status. First, its age makes it a historical artifact. Second, the quality and preservation of surviving coins have become increasingly rare. Third, its association with Abraham Lincoln, one of the most respected figures in American history, adds cultural and historical weight. Finally, the coin's connection to the broader Lincoln wheat penny series ensures that collectors who are building sets or looking for specific key dates will recognize its significance. It's also worth noting that market trends play a crucial role in a coin's value. Economic conditions, collector demand, and auction results can all influence prices. Coins like the 1937 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny have shown remarkable stability in value over the years, largely because of their rarity and the enduring appeal of Lincoln's image. Collectors often see these coins as both a hobby investment and a tangible asset, offering a unique combination of enjoyment and financial potential. If you're interested in owning a 1937 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny, there are a few tips to keep in mind. First, always purchase from reputable dealers or certified auctions to ensure authenticity. Second, consider having your coin professionally graded to establish its value and condition. Third, handle coins with care, using gloves or holding them by the edges to avoid damaging the surface. Proper storage is also essential, with coins ideally kept in protective holders or cases to maintain their condition over time. For those who dream of discovering one of these coins unexpectedly, it's worth keeping an eye on circulated pennies from the 1930s. While finding a high-grade example in everyday change is exceedingly rare, the thrill of the hunt is part of the collector's journey. Many collectors recall the excitement of unearthing a coin that exceeded expectations, a moment of joy and history in the palm of their hand. Every coin tells a story, and the 1937 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny is no exception. The legacy of the Lincoln wheat penny series continues to captivate numismatists around the world. Imagine holding a small copper coin between your fingers, worn smooth by time, ordinary at first glance, yet carrying a story that stretches back more than 8 decades. A coin that once passed quietly from hand to hand during one of the most uncertain periods in American history. Today, we are stepping deep into the fascinating world of the United States of America 1940 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny, a coin that collectors continue to search for, admire, and value not just for its metal, but for the history it represents. The year 1940 was a turning point for the United States. The nation was slowly recovering from the Great Depression while watching the world edge closer to global conflict. Factories were humming again, jobs were returning, and everyday Americans relied heavily on small change for daily transactions. The Lincoln wheat penny was everywhere, clinking in pockets, resting in cash registers, and traveling across cities, towns, and rural communities. Yet among the millions produced, certain examples stand out today as highly desirable collectibles. The Lincoln wheat penny design itself already had a powerful legacy by 1940. Introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, it marked the first time a real historical figure appeared on a circulating American coin. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse shows Lincoln's dignified profile, calm and resolute, while the reverse features two wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent, symbolizing prosperity and America's agricultural roots. What makes the 1940 no-mint mark wheat penny special is its place of origin. Coins without a mint mark during this era were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the main minting facility of the United States. Philadelphia produced a massive number of pennies in 1940, as the demand for everyday coinage was high. Because of this large mintage, many people assumed the coin as common and insignificant. However, in the world of coin collecting, condition, preservation, and subtle details can transform an everyday penny into something remarkable. The composition of the 1940 wheat penny is another important factor in its appeal. Made primarily of copper with a small amount of tin and zinc, these coins have a warm reddish-brown tone when well preserved. Over time, exposure to air, moisture, and handling causes most examples to darken or develop surface wear. Finding one today that has survived with strong original color, sharp details, and minimal marks is increasingly difficult. Collectors carefully examine the coin's surface, looking for crisp lines in Lincoln's hair, a strong jawline, and clear lettering in the famous phrase "In God We Trust." On the reverse, the wheat stalks should show full kernels and clean lines, while the lettering remains bold and well defined. These details matter immensely when determining the coin's value in the collector market. Another aspect that adds intrigue to the 1940 no-mint mark wheat penny is the potential for minting quirks. While major errors are rare, minor variations such as die wear, doubled elements, or unusual toning can capture the attention of experienced collectors. Even without dramatic errors, a coin struck with exceptional quality during a high-production year can stand out as a premium example. The historical context surrounding this coin also enhances its appeal. In 1940, America was on the brink of entering World War II. Although the country had not yet joined the conflict, preparations were underway. Industries were shifting, resources were being evaluated, and the nation's economy was transforming. Every penny minted during this time was part of that larger story, used to buy newspapers, bread, or a cup of coffee, while the world stood on the edge of monumental change. Over the decades, many 1940 wheat pennies were lost, melted, or worn down beyond recognition. Children spent them on candy, adults dropped them unknowingly, and countless examples were simply discarded. As a result, high-quality survivors have become far scarcer than their original mintage numbers suggest. This is why collectors today place such importance on preservation and grading. Professional coin grading services evaluate coins based on strike quality, surface preservation, luster, and overall eye appeal. A 1940 no-mint mark wheat penny that grades at the highest levels can command significant attention and respect in auctions and private collections. These top-tier examples are often stored carefully in protective holders, shielded from further wear, and admired as miniature works of historical art. The emotional connection collectors feel toward this coin should not be underestimated. For many, it represents a link to parents or grandparents who lived through the 1940s. Others see it as an accessible entry into the world of classic American coinage. The idea that a simple 1-cent piece could survive for generations and later be recognized as valuable is part of what makes numismatics so compelling. Searching for a 1940 no-mint mark wheat penny has become something of a treasure hunt. Collectors sift through old jars, inherited collections, and estate finds, hoping to uncover a well-preserved example. Even today, stories emerge of people discovering remarkable coins tucked away in forgotten drawers or passed down unknowingly through families. The market for Lincoln wheat pennies remains strong, driven by nostalgia, historical interest, and steady demand from collectors worldwide. While many examples are affordable, the finest specimens occupy a different category altogether. These coins are pursued by serious collectors who understand the subtle differences that elevate one penny above another. It is important to remember that the true worth of this coin is not solely measured in money. Its value also lies in its story, its craftsmanship, and its survival through decades of change. From the hands of factory workers in 1940 to the collections of modern enthusiasts, the journey of this penny mirrors the journey of the nation itself. As you hold or view a 1940 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny, you are looking at more than copper and design. You are seeing a silent witness to history, a piece of everyday life from a pivotal era, preserved against the odds. For collectors, that connection is priceless, and for those fortunate enough to own an exceptional example, it represents a remarkable achievement. In the highest levels of preservation, when all the factors align perfectly, this historic penny has reached a value of $40,298. The soft copper glow of an old American penny can sometimes carry more history than a thick textbook. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most quietly fascinating coins ever struck by the United States of America, the 1941 Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny with no mint mark. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary old coin, something easily overlooked in a drawer, a jar, or an inherited collection. But as with many treasures of the past, its true value lies not just in metal, but in story, rarity, condition, and the remarkable journey it has taken through time. To understand why the 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny continues to attract collectors, historians, and everyday treasure hunters, we must first step back into the America of the early 1940s. The nation stood on the edge of enormous change. The clouds of global conflict were gathering, and although the United States had not yet entered World War II, the tension was unmistakable. Factories were beginning to shift their focus, industry was accelerating, and American coinage was still being produced in massive quantities to support a growing economy. In the midst of all this, the humble wheat penny continued to flow through American hands, buying bread, newspapers, and bus rides. The 1941 Lincoln wheat penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not place a mint mark on coins. This is why the coin carries no letter beneath the date. While millions were produced, survival in high-quality condition is far more limited than many people assume. Coins were used heavily, passed from hand to hand without a second thought. Very few were set aside carefully, especially in uncirculated or near-perfect states. The design of the wheat penny itself is a cornerstone of American numismatic history. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's dignified profile faces right, a design created by Victor David Brenner. Introduced in 1909, this portrait marked the first time a real historical figure appeared on a circulating U.S. coin. By 1941, the Lincoln design had already become a familiar symbol of stability and tradition, especially during uncertain times. The word liberty rests to the left of Lincoln's profile, while the national motto appears above, reinforcing the ideals the country held dear. Turning the coin over reveals the iconic reverse design featuring two wheat ears framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. Above them sits the phrase E pluribus unum, a reminder of unity drawn from diversity. This wheat design remained in use until 1958. Making it one of the longest-running reverse designs in U.S. coinage history. The 1941 issue sits comfortably in the later years of the wheat penny era, yet it still carries the charm and craftsmanship that collectors admire. What truly separates an ordinary 1941 wheat penny from a valuable one is condition. Most surviving examples today show heavy wear. The high points of Lincoln's hair, cheek, and jawline are often flattened. On the reverse, the wheat stalks may appear smooth or faint, with fine details long worn away by circulation. These coins, while historically interesting, usually carry modest value. However, when a 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny survives in exceptional condition, the story changes dramatically. Coins that retain sharp details, strong luster, and minimal surface marks are exceedingly rare. Even more valuable are those that have never circulated, preserved carefully for decades. These coins offer a time capsule view of American minting as it appeared more than 80 years ago. Collectors carefully examine several factors when evaluating such a penny. Strike quality matters greatly. A strong strike reveals crisp lines in Lincoln's hair and coat, as well as full, well-defined wheat ears on the reverse. Color is another critical element. Original red or red-brown copper tones are far more desirable than darkened or cleaned surfaces. Any evidence of improper cleaning can significantly reduce value, as it removes original surfaces and alters the coin's natural appearance. Professional grading plays a major role in determining worth. When a 1941 wheat penny is authenticated and graded by a reputable grading service, it gains trust and credibility in the marketplace. High-grade examples certified at the top levels are extremely scarce, and competition among collectors for these coins can be intense. This demand is what pushes values into remarkable territory. Another aspect that adds intrigue is the emotional connection many Americans feel toward wheat pennies. For generations, these coins were part of everyday life. They jingled in pockets, filled piggy banks, and were saved by children who dreamed of someday finding something special. The idea that one of these familiar coins could be worth a substantial amount fuels interest and excitement even today. The historical context of the 1941 penny also adds depth to its appeal. This coin was minted just months before the United States entered World War II following the attack on Pearl Harbor. Soon after, metal compositions would change, and wartime pressures would reshape American coinage. The 1941 wheat penny represents a final moment of pre-war normalcy, frozen in copper. Collectors and investors alike value coins that tell a story, and this penny tells many. It speaks of a nation on the brink of transformation, of craftsmanship rooted in tradition, and of the surprising potential hidden within ordinary objects. Finding one in pristine condition is not just about money, it is about discovering a tangible piece of American history. Even today, people occasionally stumble upon old wheat pennies in inherited collections, estate sales, or forgotten boxes. While most will not reach extraordinary values, the possibility remains. That chance discovery keeps the hobby alive and inspires countless searches through old jars and albums. The 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny stands as a reminder that history sometimes hides in plain sight. As the years pass, surviving high-grade examples become even rarer. Time, oxidation, and loss take their toll. This scarcity continues to drive demand among serious collectors who seek to complete high-quality sets or acquire standout individual pieces. Each preserved coin becomes more than currency, it becomes an artifact. When all factors align, exceptional preservation, strong original color, sharp strike, and professional certification, the value of this penny can rise to levels that surprise even seasoned collectors. It transforms from a simple 1-cent coin into a prized collectible with significant worth. And now, as promised, the value is revealed only here at the very end. A top-quality 1941 Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny with no mint mark has been known to command an astonishing price of $29,388. Imagine holding a small, humble copper coin in your hand, something that once passed casually from palm to palm during one of the most dramatic periods in American history. At first glance, it may seem ordinary, even insignificant. Yet hidden within this tiny piece of metal is a story of war, sacrifice, craftsmanship, and surprising value. Today, we journey back to the early 1940s to uncover the fascinating tale of the United States of America 1942 Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny with no mint mark, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors and continues to spark excitement in the world of numismatics. The year 1942 stands at a powerful crossroads in American history. The nation was deeply involved in the Second World War, and every industry, including the United States Mint, felt the pressure of supporting the war effort. Metals were in high demand for weapons, ammunition, vehicles, and military equipment. Copper, in particular, became a strategic resource. Despite these challenges, the Mint continued to strike pennies for everyday commerce, making 1942 one of the most interesting transitional years in American coinage. The Lincoln wheat penny design had already been in circulation for more than 3 decades by that time. Introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, it marked the first time a real historical figure appeared on a regular United States coin. The obverse featured the iconic profile of President Lincoln, dignified and solemn, while the reverse displayed 2 simple wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. This classic design symbolized America's agricultural roots and economic resilience. In 1942, pennies were still primarily made of copper, unlike the steel cents that would follow in 1943. However, the pressure on copper supplies meant that the mint was already experimenting with metal compositions and production methods. This makes the 1942 wheat penny especially significant, as it represents one of the last years of traditional copper composition before dramatic wartime changes took place. A key detail that collectors pay close attention to is the mint mark. On United States coins, the mint mark indicates where the coin was produced. In 1942, pennies were struck at 3 main facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins minted in Denver carried a D mint mark, those from San Francisco bore an S, and coins produced in Philadelphia had no mint mark at all. This absence of a mint mark is not a mistake but a deliberate identifier of the Philadelphia Mint. The 1942 no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny was struck in enormous quantities, as Philadelphia was the primary mint serving the nation. Millions upon millions of these coins entered circulation, jingling in pockets, resting in cash drawers, and passing through countless hands during wartime America. Because of this high mintage, many people assume that the coin must be common and inexpensive. However, rarity in coin collecting is not determined by mintage numbers alone. Condition plays a massive role in determining a coin's value. While millions of 1942 pennies were produced, very few have survived in exceptional condition. Most circulated heavily, acquiring scratches, wear, discoloration, and damage over the decades. A coin that has avoided these issues, retaining sharp details, strong luster, and minimal wear, becomes dramatically more desirable. The obverse of the 1942 wheat penny showcases Victor David Brenner's timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln. Collectors examine Lincoln's hair, cheekbone, jawline, and coat for signs of wear. The sharper these details appear, the higher the grade of the coin. On pristine examples, Lincoln's hair strands are well defined, and the overall surface appears smooth and vibrant. Turning the coin over, the reverse tells its own story. The wheat stalks should appear full and detailed, with clear lines running through the grains. The lettering, including 1 cent and United States of America, should be crisp and evenly struck. Weak strikes, worn lettering, or flattened wheat stalks indicate heavy circulation, which lowers the coin's desirability. Another fascinating aspect of the 1942 no mint mark wheat penny lies in potential mint errors and varieties. During wartime, the mint operated under immense pressure, and mistakes occasionally slipped through. Errors such as off-center strikes, die cracks, doubled dies, or unusual planchet flaws can significantly increase a coin's value. These errors transform an already historic coin into a one-of-a-kind collectible that tells an even more unique story. Collectors are especially drawn to high-grade examples certified by professional grading services. These organizations evaluate coins based on strict criteria, assigning grades that reflect condition, strike quality, and eye appeal. A 1942 wheat penny with no mint mark that achieves a top-tier grade becomes a true standout in any collection. What makes this coin even more captivating is the emotional connection it carries. Imagine the era in which it circulated. America was rallying together, families were supporting the war effort, and daily life was shaped by rationing, factory shifts, and news from overseas. This penny may have been used to buy a newspaper reporting on wartime events, a loaf of bread for a family dinner, or a stamp to send a letter to a loved one serving abroad. Each coin is a silent witness to history. Over the decades, many of these pennies were lost, melted, or forgotten. Yet collectors with a keen eye began to recognize that not all 1942 pennies were created equal. Those preserved in remarkable condition, especially with original surfaces and strong color, slowly rose in status within the numismatic community. The market for Lincoln wheat pennies has grown steadily, fueled by nostalgia, historical interest, and the thrill of discovery. New collectors often begin with wheat cents because they are approachable, rich in history, and still offer the possibility of finding valuable pieces in old collections or inherited jars of coins. The 1942 no-mint mark penny stands out as a perfect example of how an apparently ordinary coin can hold extraordinary worth. Auction records and private sales have shown that exceptional examples of this coin can command impressive sums. Collectors are willing to pay a premium for coins that combine historical importance, scarcity in high grade, and visual appeal. The demand for such pieces remains strong, especially as more collectors seek to complete high-quality Lincoln cent sets. For anyone interested in coin collecting, this penny offers an important lesson. Value is not always obvious at first glance. A coin's story, condition, and uniqueness all play crucial roles. Something that once cost a single cent can, under the right circumstances, become a treasured artifact worth thousands. If you ever come across an old wheat penny dated 1942 without a mint mark, take a closer look. Examine the details, the color, and the overall condition. You might be holding more than just a piece of pocket change. You might be holding a small fragment of American history, preserved in copper, carrying the weight of a nation's past. As time passes, coins like the 1942 Lincoln wheat penny continue to bridge generations. They remind us of where we came from, the challenges we faced, and the artistry that went into even the simplest objects of daily life. In the world of numismatics, these stories are what transform metal into meaning and sense into significance. And when all factors align, when history, rarity, and condition come together perfectly, this remarkable coin has been known to reach a value of $31,299. In the quiet aftermath of World War II, as the world slowly tried to heal from years of conflict, the United States found itself standing at the edge of a new era. Factories that once produced weapons began turning back to civilian needs, families reunited, and everyday objects took on deeper meaning. Among those objects was a small copper coin that passed through countless hands without a second thought, the 1945 Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny with no mint mark. At first glance, it may look ordinary, but hidden within its history, metal, and survival story is a fascinating journey that has captivated collectors for decades. The year 1945 itself carries enormous historical weight. It marked the end of World War II, a time when millions of Americans had made sacrifices both overseas and at home. Coins struck during this period were more than just currency. They were symbols of endurance, recovery, and national identity. The Lincoln wheat penny of 1945 represents that transition from war to peace, minted at a moment when the nation was redefining itself. A no-mint mark Lincoln cent means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, the main minting facility of the United States. Philadelphia pennies traditionally carried no mint mark, making them easy to overlook. However, that lack of a mark does not reduce importance. In fact, it often adds to the historical intrigue. These coins were struck in massive quantities, yet surviving examples in strong condition have become increasingly difficult to find today. By 1945, the Lincoln wheat penny design was already a familiar sight. The obverse featured the iconic profile of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's calm yet resolute expression symbolized unity and strength, fitting for a nation emerging from years of turmoil. Above his head was the word liberty, while the date sat prominently to the right. Every detail, from the sharpness of Lincoln's hair to the clarity of the lettering, plays a critical role in determining the coin's appeal to collectors. Turning the coin over reveals the reverse design that gives the wheat penny its nickname. Two wheat stalks curve upward along the edges, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. Above them appears the phrase E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one. This message resonated deeply in 1945, as the country sought unity after years of global conflict. The wheat stalks themselves symbolized prosperity and hope for the future. The metal composition of the 1945 wheat penny is another important part of its story. Unlike the steel cents of 1943, which were made to conserve copper for the war effort, the 1945 penny returned to a copper-based alloy. This change marked a return to normalcy, and is one reason collectors view the 1945 issue as historically significant. The warm reddish-brown tone of well-preserved examples adds to their visual charm. While millions of 1945 no-mint mark pennies were struck, time has not been kind to most of them. These coins circulated heavily during the late 1940s and 1950s, often spending decades in pockets, jars, and registers. As a result, many examples today show heavy wear, faded details, or surface damage. Finding one with sharp features, clean surfaces, and original luster is far more challenging than the original mintage numbers might suggest. Collectors pay close attention to condition when evaluating a 1945 Lincoln wheat penny. Even small differences in wear can dramatically affect desirability. A coin with strong detail in Lincoln's hair, clear wheat lines on the reverse, and minimal marks stands out immediately. Natural toning, free from harsh cleaning or corrosion, further enhances its appeal. These qualities separate common examples from truly collectible ones. Another layer of fascination comes from the subtle characteristics that can appear on individual coins. Slight variations in strike quality, die wear, or planchet flaws can make certain pieces more interesting to advanced collectors. While major errors are rare for this issue, minor anomalies still spark excitement and conversation within the numismatic community. The emotional connection many people have with wheat pennies cannot be overstated. For some, the 1945 Lincoln cent represents a tangible link to parents, or grandparents, who lived through the end of the war. Others remember finding wheat pennies and change as children, unaware of their historical value at the time. These personal stories add a sentimental dimension that goes beyond metal and design. Over the years, interest in Lincoln wheat pennies has remained strong. New collectors are drawn in by their affordability and rich history, while seasoned numismatists appreciate the challenge of finding high-quality examples. The 1945 no-mint mark penny holds a special place within the series because it marks both an ending and a beginning, the conclusion of a global conflict and the dawn of a new chapter for America. Proper storage and preservation are essential for maintaining the value and beauty of these coins. Exposure to moisture, air, and improper handling can lead to discoloration or damage. Collectors often recommend storing wheat pennies in protective holders and handling them only by the edges. A well-preserved coin not only looks better but also tells its story more clearly. As time goes on, surviving examples of the 1945 Lincoln wheat penny continue to thin out. Coins are lost, damaged, or melted, making quality pieces increasingly scarce. This gradual reduction in supply, combined with steady collector interest, has helped maintain attention on this issue within the broader Lincoln cent series. The appeal of the 1945 no-mint mark wheat penny lies in its balance of accessibility and significance. It is a coin that many people can relate to, yet it carries a depth of history that rewards closer examination. From its wartime context to its classic design, every aspect contributes to its enduring charm. When collectors and enthusiasts talk about the worth of this coin, they are not just discussing numbers. They are talking about history, survival, and the stories that small objects can carry across generations. The true value of the 1945 Lincoln wheat penny is found in the way it connects the past to the present, reminding us that even the smallest pieces of history can leave a lasting impression. And finally, when discussing its monetary worth, it is important to note that a high-quality example of the United States of America 1945 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny has been known to reach a value of $20,993. The story of the United States of America 1950 D-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny begins in a period of quiet confidence and rebuilding. America was stepping fully into a post-war era. Factories were humming, families were growing, and everyday objects carried a sense of pride and permanence. Among those objects was the humble 1-cent coin, struck not just to facilitate commerce, but to symbolize stability, unity, and history. At first glance, the 1950 D wheat penny may look ordinary, even forgettable. Yet behind its copper surface lies a story that has fascinated collectors, historians, and treasure hunters for decades. This coin was produced at the Denver Mint, a facility known for its precision and disciplined output. The small letter D beneath the date instantly connects the coin to the American West, where Denver played a crucial role in minting coinage for a rapidly expanding nation. During 1950, the Denver Mint struck millions of wheat pennies, but not all of them survived the passage of time in equal condition. Circulation, handling, storage, and simple human neglect transformed many into worn reminders of daily transactions. Only a small fraction escaped with their sharp details, original luster, and historical integrity intact. The obverse of the coin proudly displays Abraham Lincoln, a figure chosen for the cent in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of his birth. By 1950, Lincoln's portrait had already become deeply familiar to Americans. His calm expression, dignified profile, and steady gaze represented unity and endurance. On the 1950 Dewey penny, the sculpted details of Lincoln's hair, coat, and facial features are especially important to collectors. Even the slightest wear can dramatically affect the coin's desirability and value. Coins that retain crisp lines and strong definition stand out immediately when placed next to heavily circulated examples. Above Lincoln's head appears the word liberty, a concept deeply woven into American identity. To the right of his profile sits the date 1950, a marker of an era when optimism met discipline. Below the date rests the mint mark D, small in size but enormous in significance. That single letter is what distinguishes this coin from its Philadelphia and San Francisco counterparts. For collectors, mint marks are not mere letters, they are clues, guiding the story of where and how a coin was born. Turning the coin over reveals the iconic wheat ears design that defined the Lincoln cent for half a century. Two wheat stalks curve gracefully along the edges, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. At the top sits the national motto E pluribus unum, reminding viewers of unity from diversity. By 1950, this design was nearing the end of its life, as it would be replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse just 8 years later. That fact alone gives the 1950 Dewey penny a special place in the timeline of American coinage. It belongs to the final chapter of a beloved design that many collectors feel captures the soul of early 20th century America. What truly elevates this coin from a nostalgic keepsake to a serious collectible is condition. Most 1950 Dewey pennies spent years changing hands, sliding across countertops, resting in cash registers, and rattling in pockets. Each exchange left microscopic marks, slowly erasing the sharpness of the original strike. Coins that avoided this fate, perhaps set aside by a careful saver or lost and later recovered, are exceptionally rare in pristine condition. These are the coins that ignite excitement when they appear at auctions or private sales. Mint-state examples with strong red color are especially coveted. The original copper glow, untouched by oxidation or heavy handling, signals a coin that has preserved its birthright. Even minor differences in surface quality, luster, or strike strength can mean the difference between an average collectible and a truly elite specimen. Collectors scrutinize these details under magnification, searching for signs of perfection that separate the extraordinary from the ordinary. Errors and variations can also play a role in the fascination surrounding this coin. Subtle die characteristics, minor strike anomalies, or unusual surface features can add layers of intrigue. While not every 1950 Dewey penny contains such quirks, the possibility fuels curiosity and keeps collectors examining each example closely. This sense of discovery is part of what makes coin collecting so addictive. Every coin holds the promise of something rare, something overlooked, something valuable. The historical backdrop of 1950 adds another dimension to the coin's appeal. This was a time when America was asserting itself on the global stage, investing in infrastructure, education, and innovation. The cent in your hand once moved through that world, perhaps buying a newspaper, contributing to a child's candy purchase, or resting quietly in a drawer as spare change. Each coin is a silent witness to countless untold stories, a physical connection to lives lived decades ago. For modern collectors, the 1950 Dewey penny represents more than copper and design. It embodies patience, knowledge, and the thrill of the hunt. Many enthusiasts spend years searching rolls, estate collections, and auctions hoping to encounter a top-grade example. When such a coin finally appears, it commands attention and respect within the collecting community. Its value is not assigned lightly, it is earned through rarity, preservation, and historical significance. Authentication and grading play a critical role in determining worth. Professional grading services evaluate coins under strict standards, examining everything from strike quality to surface preservation. A high-grade 1950 wheat penny encapsulated by a reputable service becomes a tangible asset, trusted by buyers and admired by peers. This process transforms a small copper coin into a recognized collectible with documented credentials. The market for rare wheat pennies has grown steadily over the years, driven by nostalgia, education, and investment interest. Collectors who appreciate the artistry and history of American coinage often view high-grade examples as long-term holds. They understand that while trends may fluctuate, truly exceptional coins maintain their appeal across generations. The 1950 wheat penny, in its finest form, fits comfortably into this category. What makes the story even more compelling is the contrast between face value and collectible worth. A coin originally intended to represent a single cent can, under the right circumstances, become an object of remarkable monetary significance. This transformation captures the imagination of both seasoned numismatists and newcomers alike. It serves as a reminder that hidden treasures sometimes exist in the most familiar places. As you reflect on the 1950 mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny, consider the journey it has taken. From the presses of the Denver Mint to the hands of everyday Americans, and finally into the realm of serious collecting, this coin has traveled through time carrying history with it. It stands as proof that even the smallest pieces of the past can hold immense value when preserved with care and recognized for their importance. In the end, the true allure of this coin lies in its combination of history, rarity, and condition. It is a bridge between eras, a piece of copper that tells a story far larger than its size suggests. For those fortunate enough to encounter an exceptional example, it represents not just a collectible, but a tangible connection to America's mid-20th century legacy, with a value reaching $34,447. In the long and fascinating history of American coinage, there are certain small copper coins that quietly carry stories far bigger than their size. Today's story is about one such coin, a humble 1-cent piece that many people have unknowingly held in their hands, spent at a corner store, or tucked away in an old jar without ever realizing its deeper significance. This is the story of the United States of America 1953 mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny, a coin that represents an era, a nation rebuilding itself, and a collector's dream waiting to be discovered. To truly appreciate this coin, we must first travel back in time. The early 1950s were a period of change and confidence for the United States. World War II had ended less than a decade earlier, and America was experiencing rapid economic growth. Families were buying new homes, industries were expanding, and optimism filled the air. In the pockets of everyday Americans, the Lincoln wheat penny was still a common sight, quietly serving its role in daily transactions. The 1953 wheat penny was born into this environment, struck at the Denver Mint, a facility that had become essential in meeting the nation's demand for coinage. The Lincoln cent design itself was already more than 4 decades old by 1953. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it was the first regularly circulating U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. By the time the 1953 wheat penny was minted, the design had become iconic. On the front of the coin, Abraham Lincoln's dignified profile faces right, a symbol of unity, strength, and perseverance. The designer, Victor David Brenner, created a portrait that balanced realism with respect, capturing Lincoln's thoughtful expression in a way that resonated with generations of Americans. Above Lincoln's head, the familiar phrase, "In God we trust," reflects the spiritual sentiment of the nation, while the word, liberty, appears to the left. The date 1953 sits to the right, anchoring the coin firmly in its historical moment. Just below the date is the small but important D mint mark, identifying Denver as the place of its creation. That tiny letter is one of the most critical details for collectors, as it distinguishes this coin from those struck in Philadelphia or San Francisco. Turning the coin over reveals the classic wheat ears design that gives the wheat penny its name. 2 curved stalks of wheat frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, symbolizing agricultural prosperity and the nation's roots. At the top, the Latin phrase, E pluribus unum, reminds us of the unity formed from many states and people. This reverse design remained in use until 1958, making the 1953 D one of the later examples of this beloved style before it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. The Denver Mint played a crucial role in producing coins during this era. Located closer to the western states, it helped distribute currency efficiently across a rapidly growing country. Millions of 1953 D wheat pennies were struck, and most entered circulation immediately. They jingled in pockets, changed hands at grocery stores, and paid for newspapers, candy, and bus rides. Because of this heavy circulation, many examples became worn over time, losing sharp details and original luster. What makes the 1953 D wheat penny especially intriguing today is not just its age, but the potential it holds depending on condition, strike quality, and rarity factors. While many examples are common in circulated condition, coins that have survived in exceptional shape are a completely different story. Collectors place great value on pennies that retain strong details, original mint luster, and minimal marks. Each tiny scratch or dull area tells a story of where the coin has been, and collectors carefully examine these details to determine worth. Another factor that adds excitement to this coin is the possibility of minting anomalies and errors. During the minting process, mistakes sometimes occurred. These could include off-center strikes, doubled dies, or unusual planchet issues. While not every 1953 D wheat penny has such characteristics, those that do can become highly desirable. Error coins are like fingerprints of history, unique and unrepeatable, making them especially appealing to serious collectors. The metal composition of the 1953 D wheat penny also plays a role in its allure. Made primarily of copper, with small amounts of tin and zinc, these pennies have a warm, rich tone that ages beautifully. Over decades, copper can develop various shades, from bright red to deep brown. Collectors often categorize wheat pennies by color, with red examples being the most sought after due to their preserved original appearance. Finding a 1953 D wheat penny with strong red color after so many years is a remarkable achievement. Beyond technical details, there is an emotional connection that many collectors feel toward wheat pennies. They represent a simpler time, when a single cent still held noticeable purchasing power. For older generations, these coins evoke memories of childhood, while for younger collectors, they offer a tangible link to the past. The 1953 D wheat penny sits at a crossroads of history, bridging the early 20th century and the modern age. In the world of coin collecting, demand is driven by storytelling as much as scarcity. The story of the 1953 D wheat penny is one of endurance. Despite being produced in large numbers, only a small fraction have survived in top condition. These are the coins that excite auctions, spark bidding wars, and capture headlines in the numismatic community. Each pristine example is a survivor, having avoided decades of wear, mishandling, and loss. Collectors often search through old rolls, inherited collections, and forgotten jars of change, hoping to uncover hidden treasures. The thrill of discovery is a powerful force. Imagine the excitement of spotting that small D mint mark under the date, examining the coin under good lighting, and realizing it might be something special. For many, that moment is what makes coin collecting more than just a hobby. It becomes a passion. Authentication and grading are crucial steps in determining a coin's true worth. Professional grading services evaluate factors such as strike sharpness, surface preservation, luster, and overall eye appeal. A high grade can dramatically elevate a coin's desirability. This is especially true for wheat pennies, where small differences in condition can mean significant differences in value. The 1953 D wheat penny, when certified in exceptional condition, stands as a testament to careful preservation and historical significance. The market for rare coins continues to grow as more people recognize the value of tangible assets with historical importance. Coins like the 1953 D wheat penny attract both seasoned collectors and newcomers alike. Some are drawn by nostalgia, others by investment potential, and many by a combination of both. Unlike stocks or digital assets, coins offer something physical, something you can hold and study, connecting you directly to the past. As time passes, the number of high-quality examples naturally decreases. Coins are lost, damaged, or improperly stored, making surviving top-grade pieces even more scarce. This gradual reduction adds to the long-term appeal of the 1953 Dewey penny. It is no longer just a piece of pocket change, it is a historical artifact, a reminder of America's journey through the mid-20th century. For anyone interested in collecting, learning about coins like this one is an excellent starting point. It teaches the importance of detail, patience, and research. Every coin has a story, and the 1953 Dewey penny story is rich with history, craftsmanship, and possibility. Whether found in an old collection or acquired through careful searching, it carries with it the weight of decades gone by. As we reflect on everything that makes this coin special, from its design and historical context to its condition and rarity, one thing becomes clear. The true magic of the 1953 Dewey penny lies in how something so small can hold so much value, both culturally and financially. It reminds us that treasures are not always obvious at first glance and that history often hides in plain sight. And for those fortunate enough to encounter an exceptional example of this coin, preserved in remarkable condition and verified by experts, its worth can reach an astonishing level, with a value that has been recorded at $47,993. In the vast and fascinating world of American coin collecting, few coins manage to capture both history and imagination quite like the Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. Among the final chapters of this legendary series stands a coin that quietly bridges tradition and change, a humble copper cent struck at the Denver Mint during a year that would forever mark the end of an era. Today, we dive deep into the story, background, rarity factors, and collecting appeal of the United States of America 1958 D-Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny, a coin whose value and worth continue to surprise even seasoned collectors. To truly appreciate this coin, we must first step back into the atmosphere of late 1958 America. The nation was experiencing rapid growth, cultural shifts, and technological optimism. Television had become common in households, rock and roll was shaping youth culture, and the United States was asserting itself as a global power. Amid all this change, the Lincoln wheat penny was nearing the end of its long and respected run. Introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the wheat penny had served the nation faithfully for nearly 5 decades. The 1958 Dewey penny holds a special place because it represents one of the final wheat cents ever produced. Later that same year, the design would be replaced by the Lincoln Memorial Reverse, ending the familiar image of 2 wheat stalks that had symbolized American agriculture, hard work, and prosperity for generations. For collectors, owning a 1958 Dewey penny is like holding the closing sentence of a historic book in their hands. The Denver Mint, identified by the small D-Mint mark below the date, was responsible for producing millions of these cents. At first glance, this might suggest that the coin is common and easily found. However, coin collecting is rarely that simple. While large numbers were struck, the number of surviving examples in high condition is far smaller than most people realize. Many of these coins entered circulation immediately and were used daily in commerce, exposed to wear, scratches, and environmental damage over decades. The composition of the 1958 Dewey penny adds another layer of interest. Like other wheat cents of the era, it was made primarily of copper, giving it that warm reddish tone collectors admire. Copper coins are particularly sensitive to handling and environmental conditions. Even slight exposure to moisture, oils from human skin, or improper storage can significantly affect their appearance. As a result, finding a well-preserved example with strong original luster is far more challenging than simply finding the coin itself. Design details play a major role in determining the value and desirability of this penny. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's profile must display sharp lines in the hair, clear definition in the cheek and jaw, and crisp lettering in the motto and inscriptions. Weak strikes or excessive wear can soften these features, reducing appeal to serious collectors. On the reverse, the wheat ears should be bold and fully separated, with strong lines running through the stalks and grains. The words United States of America and 1 cent should appear clean and evenly struck. Mint quality is another critical factor. The Denver Mint was known for producing coins with slightly different striking characteristics compared to Philadelphia and San Francisco. Some 1958 Dewey pennies show excellent detail, while others suffer from weak strikes, especially on the reverse. Coins that exhibit strong strikes on both sides stand out and command greater attention in the numismatic market. Condition grading is where the real story of value begins. Most surviving 1958 Dewey pennies are found in circulated condition, meaning they show visible wear from years of use. These examples are often darkened, with flattened details and minimal eye appeal. While they hold historical value, they are generally affordable and common. The real excitement comes from uncirculated examples, particularly those with original mint luster and minimal contact marks. Uncirculated coins are graded on a scale that considers surface preservation, luster, strike quality, and overall eye appeal. Even within uncirculated grades, small differences can result in dramatic changes in value. A coin with vibrant red copper color, sharp details, and a clean surface can be exponentially more valuable than one that appears dull or spotted. Collectors often search for examples that retain their original red color, as copper tends to darken over time. Adding to the intrigue are error coins and unusual variations. While the 1958 Dewey penny is not widely known for dramatic errors, occasional examples with off-center strikes, die cracks, or doubled elements have been discovered. These anomalies occur during the minting process and create unique pieces that are highly sought after by specialists. Even a subtle error can significantly increase interest and desirability. Another important aspect to consider is historical timing. Being one of the last wheat pennies ever struck gives this coin a sense of finality and nostalgia. Many collectors aim to complete full sets of wheat cents, and the 1958D is a required piece in that journey. Demand remains steady because new collectors enter the hobby every year, all seeking to complete their collections with high-quality examples. Market trends also influence the worth of this penny. Over time, interest in classic American coinage has grown, especially for coins tied to significant historical transitions. The end of the wheat penny series marks such a transition, making the 1958D particularly appealing. Auction results have shown that top-grade examples can achieve astonishing prices, far beyond what casual observers might expect from a 1-cent coin. Authentication and grading by professional services further impact value. Coins that have been examined, authenticated, and graded by reputable organizations gain credibility and confidence in the marketplace. Collectors are willing to pay premiums for certified examples because grading provides an objective assessment of condition and authenticity. For a coin like the 1958 Dewey penny, professional grading can be the difference between an overlooked piece and a prized collectible. Storage and preservation are crucial for anyone lucky enough to own a high-quality example. Copper coins should be stored in environments with stable temperature and low humidity, using holders made from inert materials. Improper storage can cause discoloration, spots, or corrosion, permanently reducing a coin's appeal and value. Serious collectors understand that preservation is just as important as acquisition. The emotional connection to this coin should not be underestimated. For many Americans, wheat pennies evoke memories of childhood, pocket change, and simpler times. The 1958D represents the last whisper of that era before modern designs took over. Holding one is like touching a piece of everyday history, a reminder that even the smallest objects can carry immense stories. As collectors and investors continue to seek out coins with historical importance, aesthetic beauty, and scarcity in top condition, the 1958 Dewey penny remains firmly in the spotlight. It is a coin that rewards patience, knowledge, and appreciation for detail. While millions were made, only a select few survive in the kind of condition that truly captures the attention of the numismatic world. For those who dismiss pennies as insignificant, this coin tells a very different story. It proves that value is not determined by face value alone, but by history, rarity, condition, and demand. The journey of the 1958 DeWitt penny from the presses of the Denver Mint to collectors' showcases is a testament to the enduring appeal of American coinage. As we reach the end of this exploration, one fact stands as a powerful reminder of just how extraordinary this humble cent can be. Under the right circumstances, in exceptional condition, and with professional grading, this single coin has achieved a remarkable valuation of $44,837.